Hi guys, it's me again. Okay. Second date. Second date, new state, trying to see how it is, trying to see who's out there, and, what people are about. Alright. Now mind you, the first date dressed horribly. Second date, I'm hoping for a little bit better, because he had a lot of conversation over the phone, he had time to talk and whatever have you. And his profile, his online dating again, on his profile, it said that he wants a professional woman and he's about his money and da da da. Okay, which is different from the first date. Okay, well, fine. So I'm like, okay, well, hopefully it will be better. Of course, he may not be my husband, but a good date is a good date. Take it for what it is. Okay, fine. So I'm sitting in IHOP. He comes into the restaurant. I'm just like, first of all, he had a brown jacket. I hate brown. Tan, I don't mind. But brown, I absolutely hate. But okay, well, fine. Brown jacket, but it was all stained. You're coming to meet, now mind you, he's my age. You're coming to meet someone for the first time. First impressions are everything. Moral of the story here. First impressions are everything. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to carry yourself in a certain way. Yes, true to yourself, but in a certain way you have to carry yourself. So, stained up brown jacket. In the picture online, he was at least 50 pounds lighter. I see him in person, 50 pounds heavier. That's a problem for me. I want you living as long as I live, or the potential to live. I like to work out. I like to, eat a little bit on the healthier side. Not grass and grain all the time, but, eat a little bit on the healthier side and so forth. So I want to, have a partner, even in just dating, that pretty much follows that same line. Now, I don't mind a little weight. I like my men with meat. But when you start getting into the obese range, then you have to start, doing something about it. So that was one problem. Stained jacket, way overweight than I expected it to be. Now, if I would have met him in person and he was overweight but still a good guy and it would have been no problem because I know what I was coming into. But having smaller pictures online and then it's just not right. So he sat down and everything, so he brought me a little flower. Nothing wrong with the flower. But the problem was it still had the price tag on it. It was half dying, and you could tell it's from the gas station. It's a single little flower, and it was all covered up in white cellophane, which every female, whether you like flowers or don't like flowers, you know where it came from. It has a big $2.99 sticker on it, which I'm surprised is that expensive, and it was half dying because the leaves was curled, curled over. Yes, I'm like, oh, okay. So I still try to be polite. One thing I am is I'm always polite. So I took the flower. I said, I guess I'm supposed to smell it now. So I smelled it. I'm like, oh, thank you. And my problem is everything shows on my face. So when I'm not happy, it shows and so forth. So I noticed I'm a Libra. So I notice little things about people. Now they don't turn me off necessarily, but I just notice little things about people. So he had his hands on the table. His hands was fine. He was lotion and everything. It wasn't ashy. But his nails some were broken, some were really long, some were jagged, some were just cut down to the nub. I'm just like, no. Unless you working in a coal mine or something like that, your hands should not look like that. And in this day and age, they have nail clippers. Or do like most guys do and use your teeth. No. So then we go to have conversation and whatnot, and he has a conversation of all the ills of the world. Those type of people that all they can talk about is the bad things of the world. Guns, violence, ghetto, gangs, not having enough money, woe is me, the man. All those things that they always talk about. And that's okay, because that's a very real part of the world. But what else do you have? You know what I'm saying? Where's the conversation about your job since you're a professional? Where's the conversation about that? Where's the conversation about, life in general, politics and, you went swimming yesterday or whatever have you. That's another problem. That's 3 problems right there. Major problems is the stained jacket, the nails, and the conversation. Well, we spent about an hour, and I wanted to leave after about a half an hour of being there. I was so through with being there because of the conversation. Because number one, I'm a happy-go-lucky person, and I know a little bit. I'm one of the people that know a little bit about everything. So he was talking about the Iraq War and Iran and getting into the details with Saddam and I forgot the other guy. But, okay, I don't really know that much. I don't really follow it that closely. So I do listen, and wherever I can chime in, I'll chime in. Other than that, I stay quiet and listen. But every time I was to chime in, whether it's that subject or another subject, he would cut me off, like, I get your point, but... And then he would cut me up and say, talk about his stuff. And I said, here we go. I know this type of guy. That type of guy is something either was wrong with me back in the days, or anyway, he's overcompensating, basically. That's the whole point. For whatever it is his business. But he's overcompensating for something. It has nothing to do with the size of his manhood. So, and he feels like, being that I'm short in one area, I'm going to overcompensate in another area. So he knows all about the world and all about life and how it is and shouldn't be. And he spent his time watching the news and CNN and all that stuff. So he feels like he knows about everything. And people like that can never be taught. People like that will never learn anything more than they're willing to learn. And that's a problem. Because like I said, I know a little bit about everything. And if I don't know, I would love to know. I'm always listening. I'm a good listener. And that's the whole point of listening. Because you just may not know everything. And somebody else may know a little bit more than you. So you may learn something from that, which will benefit you in the end. So that was the conversation. His nails were getting on my nerves. Then he had a polo shirt on with one button missing. First impressions. My moral of the story is first impressions are everything. You got bad nails, a dead flower, stained jacket, a missing button, and bad conversation. Come on. Then I'm like, everything he says, I say, he got the counter. That's a problem. So one time I even told him to calm down because he was getting all hype and first impressions. Where's your manners? Where's your home training? I mean, if you don't act like that, why am I arguing with you? I mean, the first time I meet you, now I don't mind having a lively debate. I have no problem with that. But come on, we're arguing at darn IHOP? No. So then, long story short, we go and we leave. I couldn't wait to get out of there. Speaking of that, time to pay the bill, whatever. He paid the bill, cool, and whatnot. So I started grabbing on my clothes, and he's want to sit there and talk and laugh and I said, I'm ready to go. And normally, people would say, okay, I gotta go now. I gotta go do this and do that and whatever have you. Nope. I grabbed my scarf on. I'm like, put my clothes on, zip, and you know when that zip comes, it's time to go. So that's exactly what I did. And I was like, all right, and I got out the booth first. And I went on, I was off that day and whatnot. And it was in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. So fine, but I was ready to go. I couldn't take it no more because first impressions, I keep saying this because it is so important. Now, I had on a nice casual top. It was one of them fleece running type tops where it had the half zipper up here and a nice pair of jeans and sneakers. 8 o'clock in the morning, just breakfast, IHOP, not that big of a deal, but I was still presentable and nice, mannerful, the whole 9 yards. But this dude, so then after we got to the car, or near the car, I was like, all right, thank you for the meal. Head down, kept it walking. There was no hug. There was no handshake. No. Because I do go out on first dates with people that may not be my typical type or whatever. Because you just never know. So you want to be open-minded and, receptive to what... Because a lot of people get married and have boyfriends and so forth long term to people that are totally opposite them. So you think you have this one type and it changes because that you just fall in love with somebody else. He may be overweight or he may be this, that, and the third, but you just never know. So So I go out on at least a first date to give it a shot. But if I don't like you, I do not give it a second and a third, because what's the point? We're wasting each other's time. So I keep it moving. And this one here, keep it moving. First impressions were horrible. And first impressions stay in your mind. They always tell you that for interviews and so forth. First impressions stay in your mind forever. You came in with bad breath, I remember that. You came in with busted shoes or holes in your shirts or whatever have you, I remember that. So, first impressions, watch out, ladies. Oh, and one last thing, so I'm going to end this because it's too long for me. Too long for single ladies. But, he goes, prior to meeting him, I was cooking. He said, oh, what's you cooking? And I told him about cooking. He said, oh, can I come eat? Ladies, don't be feeding these dudes. Do not do it. I'll put that in my next video. Is about feeding these dudes. Peace out.